Here to talk about NXT, Sarah. We're here to talk about SmackDown last night. We had a great post Rumble SmackDown where it started out with the Bloodline, but here's the thing: the Bloodline should always end any show, whether it is WWE or Pitts and Sarah's wrestling show. They are the main event at all times. So, Sarah, I'll let you take it away and kick things off with we had the tag team eliminator match. Tag team tournament finals.
And I have a lot to say.
Go for it. I'm all ears.
So we know that it was Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus Imperium. It was the finals of the tag team tournament, who will face the Usos next week for the SmackDown tag team titles. So my main takeaway from this, and I think I even tweeted it, was good match, but wrong result. And maybe I'm biased because I think I've made it very well known that I'm a big fan of Imperium, but the problem that I have with this is, okay, see, I just can't get over how much I love Pretty Deadly. I can't. They even do the Scott Hall. Okay. Anyway,
they hit all your check marks or check.
I know.
Whatever.
Okay, so back to Imperium and this match.
The other loves of your life.
So the reason I think it's the wrong result is because I feel like this is very like yesteryear type of result where they put a random tag team together and then they like make them champions, and I'm so tired of that. And we know that that's exactly what happened with Strowman and Ricochet, because they had the beef online, and then Triple H is like, oh, let's like make this into something. So it's like two vastly different style wrestlers pairing up, which is great. Like, it's been a funny story. They're great in the ring. Obviously, I'm very happy that we're seeing Ricochet, especially on TV, every single week. But I think what's confusing to me is if they're trying to establish Imperium as this dominant force, then wouldn't putting the tag titles on them as well as having Gunther as Intercontinental Champion kind of solidify that? Instead, you have them losing to a random tag team, and basically the only reason why they won was because they're the baby faces and they're going to be going up against the Usos, who are heels right now, except for Jay. So like, that's a whole thing we'll get into later, but like, I get it. But at the same time, like, Gunther's supposed to be a heel, and he's still like in that middle ground where, yeah, he's booked as a heel, but people still cheer for him because he's still really good.
Yeah.
And that feels like how it is with Imperium.
It's just annoying because I agree with everything you're saying, and you're right. It's just I see the direction they're going with the Braun and Ricochet, but to me, it just seems like they're going that direction because they just want to make that match happen. They just want to give them that. Where Imperium, if you put them in that match, like, you need to have them win. There's no, like, if they lose, then what's the point of making Imperium? And
yeah.
That's what I don't like right now. And if they're just doing, and this is just me being an optimistic person, is that if you're going to go this route and, dethrone them at some point or whatnot, and you're going to have a fresh restart, like, wouldn't you want it to be with a faction and like a legit dominant force rather than just like the monster amongst men and, super Ricochet?
Well, and that's the thing too. If we're supposed to be like, oh, they've had a historic reign, they're the greatest tag team in WWE history, blah, blah, blah. If we're supposed to believe that, you're then going to have them lose to a tag team that you put together 3 weeks ago because, you just threw them into the tournament in the semifinals. Like, it just seems kind of silly to me and very forced of like, oh, okay, well, we have to have some good guys in this match, so let's put them together because they're over. And it's like, but yeah, I don't get it. I don't like it. And it's I remember reading something a while ago, and I don't remember who said it, but someone in the wrestling industry, and he was talking about how he had so much issue with how they've been booking Imperium. And it's like they are a generational group that should be booked as such, and they're not. And I mean, Gunther has had great matches. The rest of Imperium have had great matches too, but you kind of forget about it when they keep losing, and then they're losing in big matches where they're supposed to be qualifying and getting the tag titles. And it's like, okay, so then doesn't that defeat the entire purpose of trying to build them up? I don't know.
Yeah. No,
I'm
I
one,
see that.
and I don't know. It doesn't give me a lot of hope for them. And that's what kind of bothers me, because I
Oh,
feel
there's
like,
hope.
well, I just at this point, like, I know I'm not saying they have to be champions. It just seems like a ridiculous move with how they had the matchups going in the tournament to then have them in the finals to then lose to the people that you threw in, because the Banger Bros were like eliminated themselves basically. Like, I would have at least been a little bit more on board only if it was Sheamus and Drew McIntyre that won, because they've been doing this whole like tag team thing for at least like a month or more. So at least they seem a little bit more like a legitimate tag team than Strowman and Ricochet. That was just put together like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it boggles my mind how, like, I even was shocked when I looked up and was like, "Oh shit, they won." I
that's why
just
I asked you
really
to
like,
tell me, because I was like, I won't even watch. That's why I didn't watch last night. So
yeah, you caught up today.